Well, welcome to 100 Gems Podcast. And today we got Dr. Piles and our own Mr. Andy Partel. And we're going to be talking about friends, family, and finances. And we finna drop a few gems for you guys, so we hope you catch on. Pastor, before we jumped on, we was talking about how hard it is to go into business with some family members.
Well, one of the things, and I'm thinking it's good we got Andy on, he can chime in.
Yeah.
With the Millionaire Coaching Circle, these are conversations you have. And one of the things that when you're talking to people who have made a definitive conclusion on something in their own circle and silo, now, understand, it's my money. Mm-hmm. It's my apartment, it's my house, it's my thing that I'm going into. But I think that sometimes we, Rob, we make a decision and make a concrete decision, and it sounds good. But there's a hint that, man, it can't be right. It can't be right. So statements, I don't loan money to friends.
Right.
Well, who can I go to? My enemy? Somebody I don't know? I think that there are certain friends that you shouldn't loan to.
There we go.
And you already know. And you can't wait a friendship and not do your due diligence. It's some people you shouldn't rent to, family members, friends. You shouldn't rent to. There are some family and friends that you shouldn't go into business with, right? So, but I can't say, and I just won't say, no, I ain't doing that, man. I ain't doing that with my friend and my family. I'm not doing that because I think everything has to have a merit, Rob.
Yeah, we gotta weigh it out.
You gotta weigh it out.
We gotta weigh it out, and I know, like, I got a cousin. I know for a fact that he gonna take off, and I might not see him for a week because he gonna binge.
Okay, he gonna be on vacation.
He gonna be on vacation.
Yeah.
So I know there's only certain things I can do with it.
Yeah.
You know, I love him to death.
Love him to death.
I love him to death, and so when he come around, and he knows what to ask for now too, though.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like I can't give you this because you can't handle this.
And I think, Rob, too, is that we expression as people, and I want Andy to chime in too. You know, because when you are in a position and you want to take your family, friend, ain't nobody else. I would rather be to my family and friends.
Right.
But I think where we mess up, I know, is that we don't have no. One is that you got to have guidelines already. And guidelines mean is that systems, checkpoints, places there, so that they know coming in.
Yeah.
You can have those things there. You know, we'll do something when we have a lease.
Yeah, hey, Pat, some of that too is come from us having the experience.
Right.
You know, when you first getting in the game, I remember when I first got my first house and I moved my sister. Mm-hmm. You know, I couldn't wait to tell her, and sure enough, that was so bad. It went left.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't have the experience, but my daddy did tell me because he said, listen, I don't rent to none of my friends. He had about 50, 60 properties.
Yeah.
I don't rent to none of my family.
Right.
And he didn't.
And see, and I that's his house, his money. So let me just say it to you, I hate people say it wrong. I have to revisit that. Why won't you rent? You'll rent to anybody else, but family and friends?
Well, you know, when the family and friends too, Pastor, when they only got a certain kind of income, and then their mindset is survival, so to speak.
You ain't got no friends?
Oh yeah, I got some friends. I'll rent to you. Matter of fact, I think
see now. You follow me? So, and I pay you not on the 5th,
right?
Not on the 6th. I pay you, my wife, on the 1st.
Yeah, she.
Come on now, on the check. I signed the check. I give him check, not even sign it.
I'm so thankful for Miss Pyle. Hey, and now Andy, one of the things Andy's been doing, a banker, and he knows our community. Yeah. He knows our community really well and how the banking system works. Andy, why don't you chime in and talk about a little of that for us? How that affects you when you see family members coming in to do business. I think you was talking about something a little earlier.
Yeah, it's difficult lending to family, and sometimes as a banker, you look the other way on credit scores and debt service ratios, and but there's strict guidelines in the banking, and there's a lot of rules and regulations. So I'm a big fan of keeping business and family matters separated. But with that said, we're family is important, right?
Yeah. So let me say that this is where I would say that the coaching circle, help out, because what we say things that I got to sit at Sunday dinner. I see you, so we'll say that we keep it separate. And I'm here to say, let's have that conversation. Number one of the things that you got to address the elephant in the room, Andy.
You have to,
because if I'm a family member, and my credit score is don't reach that point, that I might take off a week, and all those things. I'm gonna address that. It's not family. We got to start saying. And matter of fact, who better should it be to address that stuff in the room? What it is that we don't want to address. I don't want to address those things. The elephant in the room. You don't pay nobody. Everybody have situation where they fall on hard times. Or a hard time. So we need to be there for one another. But it's a difference between a hard time than all the time.
All the time. I think, Pastor, when we be talking about how folks be coming with the same problem.
Yeah.
Every month you need some help.
Get some new problem.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to get out is that when you make a statement like that, I could be paying my bills, doing this, doing that, and I say, well, Anthony, I'm not going. My son Anthony, he's behind us right there. I told him to be with there so y'all can see him. This is my son Anthony. Right, look just like it, Daddy. Look at it, right. So we need to address things up front. So then, if I'm coming to the bank and you're my uncle, I want to make sure that my stuff is in order. We should have that conversation around the dinner table before you walk in that bank.
Yeah.
Because then I go in the bank and you be like, "Cuz, you told me a dead body on your credit. You got me in front of them people." So what I'm saying is that this is why we're doing the podcast, because I don't want to make a blanket statement. And some people say I don't lend to friends, all that, right? Man, if I ain't had that, boy, I don't know where would I be at. Because I've been in a situation, and listen, this is our rule of thumb. If you come to me for some help, borrow some money, and you got all them friends around you, I'm going to be like, hold on, wait a minute. You don't burn all them bridges? That's what normally happens. So that rule of thumb, Rob, may not necessarily be the conversation or the thing I put on the wall, on the plaque. I'll say this here. These are the green fees. These are the green fees. This is what we're looking at. Now, I got people say, man, I'll do that with you, but I ain't doing it with them. That's okay to say that, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I let you use my car, but I ain't letting you use my car. Why? Man, because you don't put no gas in it. You brought it back nasty. You did all this stuff. So I want to keep the door open, because then you too can be in that position. You too can get to the point where he told Cain and Abel. He said, if your offering is acceptable, you too.
Right.
I'm not a respected person. It's just that the bank won't allow me to not pay them and keep the house.
No, they not.
So I can't allow you not to pay me and stay there. But I don't want to have a blanket clause. Hey, man, that's it. And don't expect to put me in a bad position when you go to the bank. You're the banker. I should be saying, hey, man, now I know that there are times that we need a little help. There are times that, but majority of the times, we haven't followed our order or system. A lot of times, we remember family that we deal with because it's closer. Man, I've been beat by everybody.
So,
but you remember your family. You remember your friend. And maybe because we don't respect that.
It be a little bit, it's more personal. It hit home more.
Yeah.
It
hit home, and it should. It should, because we're open.
Yeah.
So what I want to say is, when we're dealing with this, right, it came on the coaching circle. It comes up on conversation. It comes up in the Big Six when people have a statement. And granted, That's your money. That's your dad. Your daddy house. He did that right. But I'm your son, and just cause my brother did something, no, I ain't doing that because your brother did that. Wait a minute. I've shown that I'm responsible. I've shown that my credit score is good. I'm showing you. So you got a rule. I got to go to somebody outside. So I want to make sure that we don't ever get in a position. First of all, like I said, addressing the elephant in the room.
I think that's the whole key.
I like that, and it reminds me that blood is thicker than water, Pastor.
That what they say?
Yep.
But our Arabic brothers say that blood is thicker than milk. You know what that means? That means that even the mother that we nurse from, that once blood, man, like I was saying is that blood is thicker than water. Yeah. That's true. But you can't put me in harm's way. Right. And that's what I'm trying to say.
That's it.
That's what I'm saying.
And you put me in harm's way when you move into my house that I got a mortgage on that I have to pay. Yeah. And you don't pay me. And
two guys, we just said, so two, I want to discuss, and I'm not going to make a rule because it's, man, I'm making a rule. These are guidelines.
Yeah.
Here go the guidelines. If you meet the guidelines, these things here, then we'll go from there, you know. And sometimes people don't want to deal with it. So here's a situation like Magic Johnson said this. He said, man, I got family members that I just pay them to stay. I just pay them. They're going to do. I still pay them. They're going here. It's better for me. Because when you get to a certain level, like myself, I can't hold hands like I did. I had one store. Mm-hmm. When I had one store, I'm in there every day. If you're the maintenance man, you my friend, I can work with you better. But when you get to have 12, I can't be in that store. So then I had to get to a point that I put Anthony, my son, in a position that I hire somebody that he got to go in there and fight with. Right? I can't do that. So that means that my friend, and I told my friend this, people come in and they looking at it. If they know we friends and family, you do know they're going to be looking at you.
Yeah.
Tighter.
Yeah.
Your game got to be tight. If I'm going to go work with Rob, if you hire me, you know what I'm saying, Rob, you ain't got to worry about, I'm going to be above board.
Right.
I ain't going to be coming up with no uniform on, late and all this. I'm not because, why? You're going to have to deal with it. They're looking at you. See, and that's why you have to be a police and understand that, man, I ain't doing it no more. Why? Because I ain't worried about you making me look bad. You making us look bad. So
and we almost put them in that situation to make us look back, or because I love what Magic Johnson, because that's me too. I hurry up and give you a couple of dollars, and keep away some of the stuff that come along with it. You know, I prefer you take these couple of dollars, and I ain't gonna see you in a couple months.
See, Rob, and I don't. Then who's gonna help them? When I say that, I'm not saying you got.
Oh no, I'm not saying I'm not. The help is there.
Here's what I'm saying. I'm not talking in general. You're saying that. That's a general statement. If a person don't understand that, when your daughter gets to be 16, 17, do you send her to work for me when you got a business there?
Right.
I'm not saying that we take a situation, we take a anomaly and come up with a rule. Mm-hmm. I'm saying to myself, is that a good rule to have? Now, when you say, Johnny, I'm going to give you this money. Willie, I'm going to give you this money because I don't want to have to do this because this is the history. Right. I'm judging you on your merit. Not on what your cousin did or somebody did 10 years ago. And that's where we get to, because when that thing get, and I'm going to tell Andy sitting here, right, I don't want nobody to look at me because I'm black. So I don't deal, man. I don't deal. You know, because automatically you coming in already with a lower standard.
Right.
You follow me? Mm-hmm. And the water ain't colder. Right? That guy told me, he said, man, I go out there to them stores out there in the suburbs. They this and that. I said, let me tell you something. I'm serious that. You know, that's for I say for real. And I had to cuss him out almost.
Right.
I was feeding him, and older cat, man. And I said, man, you do know this store here is finna be rebuilt. It's an old store. And I said, the store you're talking about is a brand new store, right? And I said, you ain't complaining when you eat all them quarter pounders free, right? And I gave him, I explained to him in his language. But what I'm saying is that I can't take the next guy.
No, you can't.
And judge it by him. I judge him on his merit.
Right.
Right? Because some people, I don't care what you do, you can't satisfy them. So I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about the crackhead. I'm not talking about the person on drugs. I'm not talking about all that, right? But I'm talking about when I make I go get a plaque made, no family, no friends. I don't do this right. Because it's some people, some friends, I would love to be in business with a friend. I don't, it's crazy to me that, man, we are friends.
We're friends, and we can get into it a little bit and work it out.
Yeah. But see, Rob, I feel good when I help. How am I going to be helping everybody in the street and won't help my family?
Yeah, that don't make sense. Yeah.
But I got to explain, this is why I'm doing this.
I like how you said, though, by their own merit. You know?
By their own merit.
And then with family and friends, we know them.
Uh-huh.
You know, we're familiar with them. So we got an idea if things going to go this way or that way.
Yeah.
You know? And then they also got an idea about coming to ask us for something.
Right.
You know? They know, for instance, I bet you some of the folks that work, you know, and they come and say, well, I want to be a manager at McDonald's. Mm-hmm. And they know they ain't got no business even by no McDonald's.
So when you say this is what the $1 million come from at the table, that you ain't got to deal with it. Listen, man, this ain't for you. McDonald's ain't for you, right? Why? This job ain't for you.
Yeah.
You don't like smiling. You know, you don't like taking direction from women, and you don't like dealing with kids. A lot of kids here. So I think we have to be transparent. That's why I said the elephant in the room is.
Elephant in the room.
You need a job.
Yeah.
Do you want a job? 2. Number 3 is that I don't want to I'm going to avoid this situation right now. That's the elephant in the room.
Mm-hmm. You can't avoid the elephant in the room.
Uh-huh.
That's something.
Right.
If it's not dealt with,
we're going to address the elephant in the room.
You have to address it. Because if you don't, the elephant gonna step on you.
And then if there's no history, then you may say that. But a lot of times we already know, like Rob said, we already know, man, but we have hope.
Yeah.
And we have
that's
hope.
true.
We have hope, man. I hope they're gonna do better.
I hope they're gonna do.
So a lot of times I think we put ourselves in a position that we get bitter and then we come up with stuff. But I had to step back, man. I had to pray about a lot of the stuff that goes on because I've been in business 20-something years, and you know, I want my friends, I want my family. Mm-hmm. I love being around my family. I love, man. I
agree, Pat. I agree.
But here are the green fees. Here are the green fees. Right? I can't. If anybody gonna pay that loan, it's gonna be me. Yeah. If anybody gonna make sure that bank that your reputation on the line, they don't look at me missing the loan. They look at you, Andy. Now you got 100 folk missing their loan that month, and hold on, he ain't the only one late.
Right.
Now we all got problems now, but you know who they gonna say, Andy. Wait a minute, I got 50 loans here late, but you see mine on there, and that's the part that person on there. You have to really, and I think it'd be a grooming ground. A grooming ground is where you said having a problem, but not the same problem every month.
Not the same problem every month.
You follow me?
Right.
I ain't gonna talk one time about uniform. You know, some things I ain't gotta. We don't have to have a long conversation about uniform, wearing your hat. I'm talking about stuff like trigonometry. Like figuring how to bag the fries up may be a challenge. You have to study a little bit.
Right.
But when you come to certain things to be, man, I'm not gonna make you look bad, Rob.
Right. No, same here.
Yeah.
Same here. Mm-hmm. That's something like when Andy came in, man. Andy was talking about how he had to apologize to a person. That's it's tough. Yeah. It's tough. And
that's right.
If we ain't gotta go in it all, but. A fella needed something, and it's like, man, it's for some different reasons. Yeah. It ain't there, and it hurt it to have to tell him that. You know, but those are some of the situations, man, where we get into. I know even for myself where I didn't just went against the wood. Come on in, went against Grant. Come on in, come on, man. I love you, and so on, and it then bit me in the butt. Yeah, you know. I'm careful today, and I'm wiser. I think that's part of you get wise. You get wiser when you get hit.
No,
I talk about for me. I did.
It's folks that still getting hit in the head.
Oh, no doubt.
And I think once you address the truth,
that's gonna happen too. That's yeah, but you got to address those elephants.
Right.
I think that's the whole key, though.
Yeah.
You got to address those elephants. You know, like, man, I know that this was going on and so on, but this elephant right here is still here.
Right.
And he ain't going nowhere.
He ain't going nowhere. And
I can't move it. It's your elephant.
Yeah. And you can't be going up and saying that's my daddy. Anthony never done that before. He never done that before. But you can't go in there. I know Mr. Powell. Well, if you know me,
you really
know me.
Yeah.
You know, man. And listen, man. I had to find my friend. You know, we were working at a restaurant. And I was a manager, a night manager, and he told my wife, "I can't work with Robert," and I didn't want to work with him. He was lazy, right? And I'm gonna tell you something. The first person the first person who's gonna sit down or take a breather is gonna be me. Let me tell you some rule I had. I ain't gonna hire nobody lazier than me. Man, you late? Hey, cause we ain't not working hard, and you tired, and you young. I mean, young. He younger than me. How you gonna be talking about this, man?
Right.
So it wasn't nothing personal. We still stay friends, but you can't work with it because it's something about fast food. You got to be fast.
You got to be fast.
That's what they call it, fast food.
That's right.
You can't move with your pace, and some people can't move like that,
right,
and groove like that, right? So I'm okay with that. We can still crack joke and do all this. I want this to be, but we ain't got to be. Right. You follow me?
I want to be, but it ain't got to be.
It ain't got to be. So that's a conversation you have. And I think you talk about all the things with experience, Rob, is that you had that conversation before going in. Yeah. You don't rush to it. Hey, man, you know, I'm going to send you in there. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. They're going to probably give you a little hard time because they probably think I'm sending you there to spy on you. Spy on them. They. And number two is that tell them right up front. I'm going to tell you the truth. Man, listen here. I'm going to tell it.
Right. But we have to. Go ahead and
I'm going to tell it.
What I say, Rob, a lot of people like to avoid conflict, and it just festers and it gets ugly.
Mm-hmm. It blows up.
Yeah, it blows up. And you talk about the elephant in the living room. That's sage advice. And I picked some of that up in the Big Six.
Yeah.
And I brought and shared that message with my children, and all of them, they understand the work ethic, and you've got a great message that everybody in Milwaukee needs to hear.
Because that's the guys that we deal with, and they want to start business, their family and their friends and all that. And sometimes I think we've heard people say things and we try to run with it. When I'm not gonna struggle trying to figure out how I want to say. When you come get the loan, I'm gonna look at it, and you know sometimes because if I do it for somebody else, right, then I understand that. But when we start talking about the elephant in the room, I worked at McDonald's. The owner's son came to drive-through. He was with some dudes that I knew, because my buddy was a sheriff, and they were some rough guys. They were some rough guys. So I told the owner. Matter of fact, they came in and ordered a lot of food that night, that evening. I told them I wouldn't even serve them. Man, hey, I ain't. This ain't all for you. This is my daddy's store. I don't care if it's your daddy's store. Look here, man. I know your daddy. Mm-hmm. So the next day, I'm gonna tell you. Next day, I talked to him. I say, man, look, saw your son. He with these guys, man. Jack, and I didn't give him that food. He says, good, right? And the supervisor came and got on me. He told me, he said, hey, Robert, man, we don't want to worry with Jack with that. You know what I told him? I said, I'm gonna tell you something. If that's my son, you better tell me. If I go in there and I'm working in the store, if you stealing, don't steal around me. Because, Andy, if you know I know they stealing and I don't say nothing, how you going to feel about me? I'm your friend.
You're an accomplice.
You preaching now. So that's why, as friends and family, man, I should be able to go to sleep.
Yep.
When I was at McDonald's, man, when I came here, man, we worked, I think 200-some days straight. When I say I worked 3 days in a row, wasn't even tired. And I'm not making it up. I worked that right. When my brother came out, and he had just came out. He wasn't certified, no right. He said, man, go home. He said, go home, brother. I said, man, I got to, he said, we got it. We need anything called. You know how that felt, man?
Felt good.
My brother been there.
Yeah.
Because I know he ain't gonna steal from me. Ain't nobody take my stuff, break stuff. And a lot of times, you got a good family, a good friend, they get mad more than you will.
Over your stuff.
Over your stuff. And that's like, hey, man, look, he crazy. That's up. My sister Marilyn,
Yeah.
she fight him, boy. She fight him, but her brother, boy. They fight him. Yeah. So that's the kind of people you want around you with your stuff. Family member, come on. Because I'm not going to have a rule like that. I won't. And I'm not saying it's wrong because it's my money, my house, my thing. But I'm saying that when you look back over principles, you know what I mean? You look back over, even we say kingdom or how we line it up, man, who else do I want to be able to get rich with?
Yeah, I know another, like in the one of the reasons why we had started the coaching circles, because a lot of folks come and they with their business ideas and they want information, so on and so forth. But what about when them family members come and tell you they want to start a business,
Right?
But they want you to put it all together for them. You ever had that? Where they come, they tell you, well, listen, this is what I want to do. This right here and this right here, and you be like, okay, that's all sound good. So what you want me to do then?
I think, Rob. Here's what I'm trying to tell you. What happened? I Big Six. I've been doing Big Six for over 12 years.
Yeah. At
5:30 in the morning, right? And we're teaching. You got a Big Six to your family.
You have to.
Yep.
If you get it out there in front, I had at one time, back then, this is why back, I had over $30-some thousand in company loans. $30-some thousand in company loans, people, And I'm like, man, this one a good one. This one ain't getting any credit together. Right? So what I said is, I tell you what, I say, in order to get a loan, you're gonna have to go sit. I had a finance guy work for me. You got to sit with him. He gonna go through your budget, blah blah blah. Right? That cut a lot of that out. But they ain't gonna sit down. They ain't gonna do it.
They ain't gonna do it.
They use you like a credit card.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
not a credit card
Yes,
man.
Sir.
I paid the loan off, but this ain't where you go back and charge it back up.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, you should become the lender. So what I'm saying is that, Rob, what if we took what you're learning? That's what the Big Six and the millionaire. You take this and you say to them, you'll say to them, I am having a class. I know a lot of y'all want to start business, a lot of y'all money. I'm doing this on Sunday evening, twice a month, once a month. And in order for me to do something with you, you got to come here and go through the course. So it's you get ahead of the game. Because they're going to ask, especially I'm talking about the guy, people who are moving, building. Then you put it out there before that. It's already a greens feed, we call that. I'm already knowing, man. If I go there and ask Rob, he's going to ask this question. They already know what I'm already. Am I right, Anthony? He know what I'm at. That sound like, he said, I knew you going to ask me. Hey, he do.
Right.
Hey, I'm going to ask that question.
Right.
You want a business? What you got on it?
Man, what you got on it?
Hey, man, this is my business. This is my dream.
Who business is it going to be?
This is my dream. I say, no, man, it ain't your dream. If I pay for it, it's my dream. I bought your dream. Right?
I bought your dream.
And then the question is, and at the bank want to know, what if it all goes bad? If we had to get this house back, I want 20% in there. Why? Because I was the lawyer, get it back sold. We done evaluated it. So the bank is saying, what if it all go bad? That's the question I ask. What if it all go bad? Because I can't be at McDonald's doing all this and over here paying builders when I done bought 12 sprayers, lifts and all that. What if you get tired and don't want to do it no more?
Find out this ain't they calling.
Hey, man, where you at? Man, what?
Right.
Oh, we're gonna have to fight over that one. No, but that's exactly how that works, man.
Yeah. And because folks who want to do something, that's another thing too. Folks who want to do something, you're gonna be able to see.
You prophesy.
You're gonna see it.
What's that?
Because they're gonna be doing stuff to get it done.
My son wanted to get a landscape business, right? Yeah, he cutting grass. He doing this already. But I told him, how you gonna tell me you want to be a painter? You ain't got a roller. You ain't got a brush.
Come on, that's it.
You ain't gotta have. I ain't saying you gotta have a sprayer. Your wall ain't painted.
That's right.
You follow me?
Yeah, for
so
sure.
signs and wonders. The Bible says signs and wonders shall follow thee. Signs follow you.
Signs follow.
Now all I got to do is look and see what he like. What do you like doing? What are your? Then I invested in it. Like you said, if you doing landscaping, you been keeping the yard cut, all that. Now you're 19, 20, son. Dad, I got a contract. I need to say, okay, let's get that lawn mowed. Let's get that thing. You ain't got to have a sling blade trying to cut the grass out there. What is it? American Family Park or Miller Park or whatever they call it now. But what I'm saying is that we have to be able to sit down and sometimes tell them, man, that ain't it. I've literally, man, seriously, have invested money in stuff that I know wasn't gonna work. Because it was a friend. But I told him, you're going to give my money back. If you got to go flip them burgers, why? Because I'm telling you, this ain't the time to do real estate. Man, this ain't the time. I had a friend tell me, say, it ain't the time to do daycare. They said, man, they coming down, busting them. Remember they had that big shakedown? Right. He said, that's okay. He came back about 3 months later and said, hey, man, he said, how the daycare going? I said, you told me it wasn't a good idea. I said, why would I come to you?
Right.
That's
and not listen.
Here's what I'm saying. They want your gold, your money. You want what's in my hand, but you got to get what's in my heart.
Yeah. Because you get what's in my heart, you go get you some money.
I'm going to be down here with you. I'm going to be here with you, Rob.
Yeah. Let's go. I'm
going to be, man, I'll be here with you. Listen, you woke up, listen, Rob, I'm going to be out front picking up paper.
Right.
I'm going to clean the bathroom for you, Unc.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to come back here and vacuum for you, Unc.
No.
I got this, Unc. I'm going to take the car and get it washed, Unc.
Big difference.
Unc, what can I do for you?
Big difference. And then you can give them, see, with something like that, though, you can give him a shot.
Why?
Because they didn't gave you one.
Yeah, they done broke the back, man.
I'm talking about, it is a big difference when you got folks that's trying to do things, man, especially family and friends. And if they listening to your wisdom and some of your advice, you know what I mean? Some of your directions, we can see some different things. But if they don't go sit down with the finance man and talk about their budget and talk over here or trying to do this, well, you ain't got to say no more.
I'm going to say this to Millionaire Coaching Circle. Andy, every time you see an issue, there's a law being broken. Listen, I had a buddy of mine now, I done about broke him, he don't say it no more. The devil. No, it ain't the devil, man. And I told him yesterday, I say, he said, you right. I say, the fans, cooling fans, was not working. So that's why your radiator. And I told him, I said, stop putting on the devil. I said, you ain't that important. You're not that important for the devil to be coming to Milwaukee, messing. He's not. Stop.
To break your car?
Break your car. Man, what you do? Fix it. What I got to do? Negotiate, think. Right. But if it's somebody else's fault, it ain't my fault. The answer comes to me when I say, man, that's mine. I mean, you know what? I'm going to get a better car. I'm going to get a car. That's how you push. And you want folks around you in the circle. And when you think like that, when he said something about family, man, we're a kingdom. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Everybody ain't your brother. We use that term loosely. Everybody not your brother. They don't have the same, when they say that he looks like, we are made in the image. We got the same characteristics. Rob, man, if I owe you and something bad happened, I can't pay you back, I'm going to do what I got to do. What happened to that car? I mean, that's old. I had to pay Rob back. I had to pay Rob, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if I could say something, Pastor, that the first time I met Robert and you, I was thoroughly impressed because of your story of you really teach people how to fish. You don't give them the fish.
Yeah. Right.
And the most important thing in lending with family and people is integrity.
Integrity.
And Rob exudes integrity, and so do you. And it's a wonderful thing for people listening to this podcast.
Yeah. Andy, why don't you tell us a little bit about your business that you bringing on board? Matter of fact, he coming to the old 100 Gems Plaza.
Is he? So he got a shameless plug here. So
who moving in?
Yeah.
You ain't get my room.
So yeah, the Payzaz company, we help small businesses eliminate the fees that they pay to their credit card companies. So if you're running a small business and people are coming and using their credit cards to buy stuff, well, you're getting shorted, right? Somebody buys $100 worth of stuff, you're only getting $97 put in your bank account. And the people paying with their credit cards, they're getting airline miles, cash back, and all this. You're financing that, and you're punishing the customers that are paying with cash.
Yeah.
So our firm, Electronic Payments of Wisconsin, partnered with some companies to turn it on its end. And what we do is we give the customer choices, right? Pay with cash and you save. Pay with credit card, you pay a little bit more. But what it does is it eliminates the fees. And if you learn what these guys are teaching, there's on the financial statements a thing called an income statement. And the third or fourth largest expense on most businesses' income statement is credit card processing fees.
Who you telling?
And we can get rid of that. And we've got hundreds of customers. And we're proud to say that we're partnering here on Titonia. We're going to serve the Milwaukee area. I'm personally going to be teaching financial literacy for free to the community here.
You know, it's a conflict of interest. That's what we do. Don't start no trouble.
Well, I'm teaching it under Rob's authority.
Okay.
In the gyms.
Gyms, baby. The gyms.
I don't want to be 99 Jim.
And Pastor, it reminded me of a sermon I heard last year by our pastor out in Heartland, Wisconsin. He said, we're not all brothers. There's those of us that are children of God are the ones that have been baptized by the blood of Jesus Christ, right? The other ones, God created everybody, but we're not all brothers. And one of my favorite things about Robert, and my wife will laugh, is when he calls me brother. And I said to my wife, he's a brother from another mother.
That's what's happening.
I'm blessed to be here. Thank you for having me on the podcast. Listening to you, got some great salient points.
Yeah, because the main thing, I'm glad you're here, because people need to, I think, as we get comfortable, people need to really see.
Yeah, they need to see.
And one of the things he's not explaining, you guys, he's in the banking business. When I say the banking business, he's in the banking business. I mean, talk about, you have to know the business. Some people do banking. Some folks are banking. That means how it works, the ratios, down to almost like a dollar in credit. So it's good to have Andy a part of, because when it come time to say, hey, man, this is how we can work that. This is how we can do that. And but like I told
that's that access. That's that access.
Knowledge.
Yeah, from the Millionaire Coaching Circle, that's what we got for you.
Yeah.
That's access.
And we're gonna grow. It's gonna grow, because one thing, man, is that I wanted to leave the day with this one, Rob, because that's why I heard it 6 times today, and it's Thursday this week, about renting, about loaning, friends and business. And I was like, you do know that sounds good, but when you really step back and say, I'm your friend, and I'm not gonna wait until you need something to address it. I want to be around people that by the time you say it, by the time I get to the bank, or I get to outside, or by the time my child or whoever gets outside this room, you don't told me. They said if your enemies are telling you something that's wrong, blind spot, then you don't have that many friends.
Ain't that something?
And I'm not telling you, the truth don't hurt. It's the resistance to the truth. What is gonna hurt is ignorance.
That's deep.
So I'm saying this, man. I got some friends, man, that have helped me tremendously, and you wouldn't believe it. No matter whatever level you get at, you're gonna need help. You need a friend.
You're gonna need somebody.
Man, I don't care. Don't ever get beside yourself.
Yeah, you're gonna need somebody.
You're gonna need somebody to say, hey, man,
need somebody.
I walked up, I need this today. And I'm telling you, I would be remiss if I had to go to my enemies. I need somewhere to rent.
Yeah.
And I pay. You don't rent to friends and family. So, but you gonna need something from me as a friend. Yeah. They don't sit right. Let's talk about that. Yeah. At least, Rob, we bring it to the table. So then, when different ones are coming up, they got a good solid teacher, not on what happened to me, not what happened to my situation. I think you know the truth. The truth is, man, everybody ain't like that, man. No. I got friends, man, that I ain't got to worry about.
It's exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And I think that's we're coming to that. Like I said, man, we have.
I got some good friends, Rob.
Yeah, we got.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. I got some good friends. I don't care what they say.
We got to get to. We have to know. We have to know the people that we dealing with.
I told my
especially
buddy.
If you call me your friend.
Yeah.
Or you and like Andy. I believe Andy my friend.
Yep.
Yeah.
Andy called me up with 10, 11 o'clock at night on FaceTime with tone low.
But you know what? you know when you can tell somebody your friend? When you say no.
Yeah.
I tell you.
How they go.
And if you can tell, hey, man, no, I can't be able to do that. And we still friends, right? Yeah. When you say something, we was riding another day, buddy of ours, and I had said something to him. I said, man, this is how we move in this situation. I want you to be able to go, but you got to know how to move. And he said something. I thought he was referring to me. And I said, listen, I say, hey, you gonna be around no more. He said, hold on, wait a minute, man. He said, I wasn't talking about that. I was just frustrated. He said, man, ain't nothing gonna break us up.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Hey, look, man.
I heard about that. Yeah.
And then, listen, and look, ain't nothing gonna break us up. Man, look, we together, baby. Yeah. I got some good friends, man.
That's a good thing, Pat. Yeah, that is. Yeah. That's it.
I want to be able to bring this circle up, family, friends, and I really, even now, man, I wish I knew what I knew. That's why I'm saying this now. When I went into business with my family and all that stuff there, man, I didn't know. I didn't know a lot of this here, just address some stuff, deal with it, because when it blow up, man, it blow up. It blows up. And, man, it ain't nothing like, man, when I would see the family in the business, Anthony and Gary and Marilyn, and, man, we killing them and we getting them awards. Ain't nothing like that, man. Right. Ain't nothing like that. I don't care what nobody say. I love, we got some people who are, when I call brothers and family and all that, sons, and Steve and Cottrell, and I want them to be, we got to win, man. I'm telling you. And we just now coming into it, Rob.
Mm-hmm. Oh, ain't that something?
Man, I'm just not figuring it out.
Ain't that something? Ain't that something?
So when they make their mistakes, family members and all that, I'm forgiving. But I'm forgiving, man.
Well, like they done earned their keep too.
Yeah.
It's a difference, like you said, because I know all I hear on a regular basis, especially like from Gary. Or whatever, and that's how it's supposed to be.
You see that thing in my back, the hump? That's Karen Anthony. I put him on there like a child. Burping. Come here and burp one time.
Yeah. Well, listen, y'all, that's another episode of 100 Gems.
It's over already, Rob.
Yeah, I know it's so good, but we gonna be back with some more of these good gems.
I'm telling you,
we got it in, and we supposed to been doing 5-10 minutes.
Man, I know ain't nothing 5-10 minutes.
Ain't nothing 5-10 minutes.
And to talk the whole show. I didn't get a chance to get a word. I didn't get a chance to get a word.
We know all about his business.
Yeah.
Peace, y'all.